Came home from the doctor. That night, I woke up. I went to bed at 8:30 and probably woke up at about 2 or something like that because of the glory that was still in ministering to my spirit. So I went and I laid down on this couch, and I literally thought I was going to die. And I'm laying there on the couch, trying to rest my body to the point where, okay, Lord, you can take me. Because I had a dream recently about dying young, and my wife even had another dream too, so it was just like, you know, this was it. It's okay. The glory's out of me now, and I can die. So I'm laying there, like, very quiet, very still. And then I kind of hear, you're not going to die today. In other words, I'm not going to kill myself. At the same time, I don't know when the Lord's going to take my life, and He may take it for the gospel, and that is absolutely His prerogative. As I'm getting hit with this glory, I'm seeing the very nature of God, and I'm looking on His Spirit with such clarity that I'm so overwhelmed at who He is as a person. This was the most astounding thing that the Lord revealed to me. It is His nature to die for what He believes. It's supposed to be in our nature as Christians, but we love the world so much, and we love the pleasures of it, that we don't want to lay our life down. We want to live the American dream. But what the Lord was showing me is from the time of Abraham, the father of faith, who believed he was going to have to lay down his son, to Jacob, who was facing the promise of the Spirit, wrestled with an angel and never walked the same again because he was facing death. The death of his angry brother potentially would kill him because he stole the blessing. He stole what was his in the Spirit. He had value for it, and so he stole it. But his brother could have come at him and killed him. He was facing a spirit of death. And then I realized all of the children of Israel, taking out of Egypt, the spirit of death, to going to the promised land in Jericho, everything, even to the point where Jesus Himself, in His very nature, the very nature of God was to lay down His life for what He believed. Now we all die, but we don't always die for what we believe. And so that's what it means to believe in the one who was sent. Jesus came to do such a work in the apostles that they were willing to lay down their life for what they believed because they knew it was true. That's the faith of ages. That's what the Lord was showing me. I was wrestling with the spirit of death. How did the spirit of death come in me? This is crazy. At 16 years old, I'm sitting on my roof, holding these mirrors up on my face, trying to burn off acne because I had a problem with it. And as I'm there, I'm like realizing I'm sinning against my body by destroying my face. And I'm thinking in my heart, I don't care if I live to be 25 or maybe 35 years old. If I could live to be 35 and I have a clean face, that's fine. I said that in my own heart. The Lord, the next day after my 35th birthday, after I've wrestled with the spirit of death, carved out for me the spirit of death. Now the scriptures say, God will not be mocked. Whatever a man sows, that's what he's going to reap. I always thought that was in the time to come, but it's actually in our body. It's in our physical body that whatever we sow, if it's adultery, if it's whatever, we're going to reap that. That's in the law, and it actually becomes a part of our body. Now we're saved from the guilt of the sin before the Lord in the Spirit, but it still is resident in our body. That's why Paul says, who is going to save me from this body of death? See, when you begin to realize that all the people that wrote the Bible were willing to die for what they believed, you realize every day you have to take up your cross and follow the Lord. So of course it changes what I do. It changes what I do with my time. It changes what I care about with my money. I realize now I'm sowing in faith according to what I see in the Spirit. So My whole life has changed. And I've already, in a sense, felt a distance from that glory. And I think it's been because of some choices that I've made. So I have to sow in the opposite. I have to call back to the Lord and be like, I want the glory above everything else. Because that's the hope. Christ in me is the hope of glory. I have the actual eternal salvation is laid up in the reality of me laying down my life for what I believe. So I go camping with my son while this is all happening. I realize I've been in this cocoon for over a year, and I've even called it the Kohala cocoon. And now I'm realizing I'm in the process of this baptism of death. I'm with my sons camping. They go to sleep, I go to sleep, but I wake up because of the glory stirs me. We had a little fire of coal, and I built with wood. I laid down this little fire, and I'm like, Lord, I'm just building an altar for a time with you right now. I'm sitting out there trying to read my journal, little light there, and then the fire. And the largest monarch butterfly comes out of the woods, right into my camp, and flops around. It's just exactly what I'm like. I'm like I'm a new creation now. I'm like having these experiences, but I feel like I'm that it was probably like a butterfly about that big, about 6 inches long, and it was just like flopping, like it couldn't fly, but it was trying to. And the whole idea of this is like, that's me. But the purpose of the butterfly is to die so that God can come alive in me. It's through my death that God comes alive. Now, that's something that has to happen in the Spirit, in faith. And you have to believe it. But we all die, but we don't all die in faith. A lot of us die in unbelief. So, here I am, this butterfly, looking at this picture, and I go to sleep and just thank the Lord for it. And I wake up in the morning, the butterfly had flopped itself into the fire. It's just such a beautiful picture of the very thing that God was teaching me. So, now what am I doing? I'm doing the same things. I'm pursuing sowing this album out as a seed for revival. I'm going to do the things that I saw in the Spirit. I'm going to hold up a banner for a year, and I'm going to keep doing what the Lord's called us to do in this community. But my eyes have changed. I now see what's happening in the Spirit. I now understand the nature of God, and I now believe. So I hope this is encouraging to you. The hunger that we get from the Word is meant to take us somewhere. It's meant to take us to our death for what we believe. And then after that, we realize the Scriptures no longer bring us hunger. They bring us comfort, because we're part of a legacy of people that have died for what they believe. Because that's the very nature of God. He lost his son, Adam, who chose to do something different. And the nature of God, was to lay down everything he had so that in hope he would call back people to himself. That's the nature of our God. Beautiful. So be blessed. Know you're loved by God so much. And know that love is meant to be coming alive in us to the point that we're willing to lay down our life. Yes, even our literal life, for what we believe to be true. Amen. Bless you guys.